If only I could turn back time.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is your boy IDK here, back with another YouTube video. And today, my friends, we are going to talk about another story time. Now, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I just tried to make it, but I am a failure, and I didn't realize my mic was muted, so I just had to delete the audio of it because it was literally not even me talking, even though I was talking. But yeah, anyways, getting into this story time. This one is about injuries and accidents we have had and being sick too. Now, we can all agree being sick and injuries all suck, but it only adds up to one thing. Also, being hurt. You also sometimes get to skip school, which skipping school is awesome, but being hurt sucks. We can all agree about that too. Now, we got a few different stories to tell in this video, or I got a few different stories to tell in this video. But two things before I start talking about those stories. One, I hope you enjoy the background gameplay of Zombies in Spaceland Infinite Warfare. And two, trigger warning, some of these could get graphic. I mean, it's what I'm talking about that's gonna be graphic. I'm not gonna show images or anything. So yeah, let's get right into the first story. The first story is about me being sick. So I was pretty young, and I went to the nurse's office when I was at school. I asked the nurse, "Hey, I feel really sick. Can you take my temperature?" She took my temperature and said that I was fine. Now, this is important for later on in the story. I'm wondering if she just wanted to get rid of me, or she just didn't want to deal with any kids, or just wanted to make me stay in school. But getting back into the thing, I got home, and I was feeling dizzy enough to the point where I couldn't really stand up. And my sister Shelby ended up taking my temperature. Come to find out, I was over 100 degrees. I was at 103 degrees to 102 degrees. Now, yeah, I don't know how the nurse didn't notice that, if she was lying to me, or if it was getting worse more and more later on in the day. But yeah, that's kind of what happened next, and we ended up having to go to Children's because of it to get me checked out. And by the way, this is pre-corona, so I did not have corona at all. But yeah, back into the story. Yeah, we were at Children's for about 3 hours to get myself checked out. And for those 3 hours or 2 hours, I had to watch Peppa Pig. It was torture. Now, as I was talking about, I was in there, and we ended up finding out that I had not only a pretty bad fever, but I also had strep throat. So yeah, it was sucky, and I did get McDonald's, and I did get to skip school. And then came the day where I had to choose either to skip Valentine's Day or to go to Valentine's Day for school. It was the Valentine's Day party. I ended up choosing to go back because I wanted to be at the Valentine's Day party because I did have a crush. Maybe that should be our next story time. Crushes and girlfriends I've had. But anyways, getting back, yeah, that's kind of what happened to me. It was freaking sucky, dude. Now, as I was saying, that's what happened. So now it is time to, and that's probably going to be one of the only actual 6 stories besides the one I'm going to tell as the last story, because it is definitely, yeah, a bad one. Now, anyways, the first injury story we're going to be talking about is when I split my head open. Split it completely open, dude. And what ended up happening was I wanted a toy, and it was on the top of my closet. And it was one of those closets that didn't have doors to shut, so yeah, it was just an open closet. And so I got on this toy guitar that was on the floor because I thought I could reach that freaking thing that was on top of the closet, but I was really short. I was like 5 years old at the time. So what actually ended up happening, and it was sucky. I ended up falling and hitting my head against the corner of the wall. And it was like, how did I get that unlucky, dude? And so we went to the hospital, and how they freaking stitched up my head was they told me to look at these fishes and latch onto them when they're about to put the needle into my head and sew it back up. And that's what ended up transpiring. That's what I did, and it ended up all fine. And I healed up after, and I still have the scar on the top of my head from when I split it open. Next story, when I ended up falling out of a moving car. Now it was a snowy day at this time, and so I went to the store with my sister Sarah. And while at the store, I ended up getting this little toy ball. You know those like vending machines basically that have those tiny toys in them at stores. I don't remember what they're called. But yeah, you know those things, right? Well, yeah, that's what I ended up doing, and I ended up getting that. This is kind of important for later on in the story for a funny thing that I keep thinking all the time, dude. But what actually ended up transpiring is I got in the front seat. So yeah, I wasn't allowed because I was like 7, but yeah, I got in the front seat. And it was my first time ever getting into the front seat. And so what ended up happening was I fell out of the car because somebody didn't shut the door fully, whoever was last in the mother freaking car, dude. Really? Yeah. Hard to believe, but yeah. The roads were icy. My sister Sarah tried to grab me, but I wasn't able to get grabbed, and she wasn't able to grab me in time, and I ended up skidding down that road, and it was painful, dude. Really painful. And so I had to go a full car ride home while injured, or with a big scratch down my body that had rocks in it basically too. And so what actually ended up happening next was when I got home, my mom was freaking out, and she was also freaking out on my sister Sarah cuz she even let me in the front seat in the first place. But also we called the ambulance, and they ended up picking me up, and I got to lay in that ambulance bed, and I got to watch a movie on one of the people's phones. So shout out to whoever gave it to me. I don't remember their name, but yeah, they let me watch a freaking movie on their phone while I was driven there. But yeah, I had to recover through about 2 weeks. I had a big bandage on me, on my side, really is what I was trying to say. But yeah, that's what happened. Third story, when I broke my arm. So this was on a rainy day. A very rainy day. It kept turning off and on basically. The rain did that. And so I was outside playing with my friend, Flan the King. Yes, you guys know him if you're subscribed to his YouTube channel. If you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, you know Flan the King by now. But anyways, me and him were playing outside in the rain. And so I was kicking kickball. We were playing kickball basically. But since it was rainy day, the ground was still wet and it was on slippery grass. So the ball got very slippery, and when it was my turn to kick, I ran up to kick it, but my foot bounced straight off the freaking kickball, and I landed directly on my arm, dude. It sucked. I hated it. Everybody thought I was okay, but I was sitting there in tears, being a little crybaby about it. And yeah, I was like, I cannot move my arm, dude. And so what ended up transpiring is I went to the hospital. Everybody thinking I was okay. Even though I actually wasn't okay. I actually had a broken arm. I was trying to move it. I could not move it at all, dude. And it sucked like crap. And I went to the hospital. Yeah, they said I got a broken arm. And I got to wear this red and green cast on for like 1 month. And when I took it off, there was a blood clot forming, and I was like, oh crap, what the heck is this? And since I was little, I didn't even know what it was. So yeah, that's what ended up transpiring too. Next story, one of the last stories we're talking about. Whenever I accidentally broke my finger. Now, I was bringing in groceries with my mom, and what ended up happening was, when I was bringing in those groceries with my mom, there was this weight she let me have. I don't know why she let me have it. She just let me have it, but she let me have that weight. And then so what happened and what ended up transpiring is that when I was taking in the groceries, I accidentally knocked over the weight, and it fell straight on my finger, and yeah, it got broke. It was turning purple and blue, and I had to wear one of those finger braces. You know what those are. And so yeah, I had to wear one of those for about 2 weeks, and then I finally take it off and use my finger, and it was on my main. Oh, and also when I broke my arm in that other story I told you about, last story, it was my main hand, and I still had to go to school with it, so I had to use my other hand, and yeah, it sucked. And the finger I broke was also on my main hand, so yeah, it was really sucky. Next one. And I'm actually gonna tell you about the times I crushed my fingers. One time I crushed my finger by getting it smashed with boxing gloves that my sister Shelby had on into the ground, into the motherfucking ground. Next time I freaking and crushed my fingers was when I accidentally crushed them in a moving car door, the electric car door in a van. And I crushed them 2 times on accident. And the third time, finally, was when I accidentally, as a dumb little child, I put my fingers in between the crack in the door of the basement, and I crushed it. Now, final story. Oh, now, that was the final story. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this video. No, I'm kidding. This ain't the end. I got one more story to tell. So this one I was talking about in the beginning. I was laying in my dad's and in my mom's bed, and I was laying there, and I told my mom, I'm not feeling too good, dude. I didn't say dude. But I told her I wasn't feeling too good. And so, since I wasn't feeling too good, I was laying there, and we were close to the bathroom luckily, but that wasn't good enough. Because little child me forgot that you're supposed to run to the bathroom if you're feeling sick like that, and you feel something coming up your throat, and I felt something coming up my throat, but I was laying right in front of my dad's face, and I ended up puking everywhere, and it even got in his mouth. And I'm surprised he did not even puke. That takes some guts to not even puke from that. But yeah, I ended up getting to stay home from school that day. And that's the end of this story time. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys like this story time, and I will make another one. I probably will make another one if you don't like it, just to see if you guys like that one. And if this next one ain't successful, then I'll probably stop doing them. But anyways, that is the end of the video. I'm IDK, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.